So how did you end up in San Francisco?
Well, I came out here first in 1982 on a visit, just because. Fell in love with the city while I was still in the air. And while I was here, met the first love of my life, who lived in Santa Barbara. We ended up having a long-distance relationship for a while, and then I moved there. And when things didn't work out the way that either of us thought, like, okay, I gotta go. And I went right up here. I moved up here with a woman that I was working with.
Yep.
We had no money. We lived out of her van for 3 weeks, took showers at the Y. And after 3 weeks of pounding the pavement, I found a job, then she found a job, and then we found an apartment.
Wow.
It was like the city had said, okay, we're gonna test you. We're gonna find out whether you've got what it takes to be here. And then once we proved that we had what it took, it just laid it all out. It's like, here you go, here's what you need.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that a gut feeling that kind of...
Oh, absolutely. And I've seen that exact same scenario get repeated with people endlessly over the years.
Interesting.
Yeah, that the city will test you when you first get here.
Wow.
And if you've got the cojones for it, then it just says, okay, here's what you need.
If you could think about your experiences to life up to date, what's one thing you could look back on and say, that went really well? You know, I enjoyed that.
Even though it had a profoundly dark aspect, being an AIDS caregiver during the height of the epidemic was a really profound experience. It was life-changing. I learned about the depths of my empathy. I also learned about how much stronger I was as a person than I had ever thought that I would be. So I came out of that a really changed person, but very much changed for the better.
If you look back at life and you think about things that may not have been in your control or were in your control that didn't go so well, what would one thing that come to mind be?
You know, honestly, I don't have something like that.
Sure.
I have, for my entire life, considered myself to be an incredibly fortunate person. I had amazing parenting who responded to my coming out to them at 17 entirely positively.
Wow.
My experience of being here in San Francisco has been an unendingly positive experience.
Wow.
So, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I try to live in gratitude all the time.
If you could cut your age in half as you are right now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Pay more attention to your elders. Hear their stories, because they've got a lot of really important stuff to relate.